Labor Day weekend, but everybody needs something to do. This is how to take out a 9-volt battery. That's why I bought two of them. Because if you keep one in, unless you put them in every room in the house, which I still might do, you always need these things just in case. Even if there was a kitchen fire, but it's so complicated the way it works. I was trying to snap it in, snap it in, snap it in, because when you have confusion and you're trying to open things, people always get in your way. But I just figured it out without even. First, you have to take them, and these are really loud. Oh, I just made sure there was plenty because you have to have a darkness to see the light. Here's two. Oh, and they work, and they are loud. Here's the funny thing: there's another 9-volt battery in that thing. That's why they put it evenly spaced onto that door. See how this is a bedroom door. With this one is a 9. That is a battery fire alarm. Probably still works if I could switch the battery, because these definitely work. But I know that one is not working. Now, if I could climb up there and switch it, I would. I did it one time, but it'd be useless. I'd fall over. Now, you wonder why I would put them exactly like that. Because they feel good when you do that. I mean, when you get out of the hospital and they put all those things on you, you have to like rip off the stickers things. If you ever gone onto the CT scan, they tape stuff that they use. They can monitor the places where they put it, and then you have to get out and you have to rip off all the tape, and then you have tape all over your arms. Nurses all know this. Just when I got my shot to get blood drawn, I'm like, oh, can I have anything fresh? Like, what? You're not allowed to have that. You can take that if you want. All the gauzes, which are right there. See, it just blinked. So that means this one's on. This one's going to blink in a second. But now you might wonder how many seconds before I can stand here to see which one blinks first, right? So this one just blinked. Blink, blank, whatever it's called. See, it just blinked. I could tell by the back of it, but it has mounting screws. So you got to, these things were made to be mounted onto the wall, like upside down and backwards. But it's easier because if you have them installed, this one just blinked. If you have them installed, it's tough. It's really tough to get these things out. That's why they're going to wear out soon. I brought these probably 6 months ago, but they work. That one, see, this one just blinked. I'm doing that in coordination, right? I worked in coordination department too. I know what engineering is. I know what a WISIT is, which is a United States government document. You know, anything you produce under a company is patented by them. Because when I worked for Vitro Corporation, they destroyed that building. Sitting there one day, a freshman, actually, whatever it called, first time employee, first year employee. I was like, no, you're on the designing the WISITS teams in the coordination department, right? So I was in the coordination department, right? And of course, my boss was very, very strict, but they were not strict, and they were strict just enough to be a boss. Of course, bosses have to be strict, especially in engineering. But he knew his job well because he was the supervisor. And he had all the young engineers around him, surrounding, including me, girls and boys both. And his teammate it was a huge building. It was called Building 12. It was corner of Georgia and Connecticut Avenue in Silver Spring, Maryland, 20906. Right. So his name was Ted, right? And of course, first year, all of a sudden, the axe came. They started laying off employees. People didn't like it. But I was a first year. Getting the whole interview was even more bizarre. They put me up in a hotel. Hotel didn't have the reservation. Traveled all the way down from Fallcroft to Rockville, Maryland. This huge, beautiful hotel. Sitting there with no gas, no money, no nothing. I knock on the front desk. Lady says, no, we don't have a reservation for you. Well, what's the name of the company? I said, Vitro Corporation. No, nothing here. I think it was the DoubleTree on Rockville Pike. She says, just sit right there in the lobby. Eventually, if nobody shows up by 12, we're just going to, there'll be a cancellation. We'll just give you a free room and then bill them later. Because they had a corporate account. They knew the corporation, but they screwed up whatever reservation was. Get there the next day or whatever, go in for the interview. Dude's asking me. Of course, I answered this out of the Philadelphia Inquirer with no digital. It was all paper. It was called One Ads. Every Sunday, the One Ads came out. I kept looking local. Oh, see, it just blinked again. But the funny part about it is, that was just blinked. See, they're almost in synchronization. They ended up hiring me, laying off people the first year. They moved us to the basement somewhere. But the chick I was partnered with, he used to sit right next to her, across from her. She was so good looking, Towson State, super athlete. She was so good looking, you couldn't take your eyes off her. She's got so horribly, I guess, depressed for her age, because she was 22, 23, same age as me, maybe a year older. Because she's like, I'm never going to find a boyfriend. Never going to find a boyfriend. Never going to find a boyfriend. Meanwhile, she had her sights directly pointing at me. She goes, because Mike has her. But we were not married. I'm sitting up next to her, across from her every day. Tight skirt, tight, girl stuff. And her name Donna, brother Chris. They have a city named after them in Pennsylvania where the president used to live, Scranton. There's many, of course. Baltimore has a beltway, right? Towson, Vitro is the corner of Connecticut and Georgia outside. That's why they name the states around the beltway. That's why they name the streets around the beltway after the states. Wisconsin Avenue's 355. Around the beltway. Philadelphia got a beltway. What was that? Blue Route, maybe whenever it was Bridge to Nowhere, but not in Washington. No, they had it figured out years before that. And of course, I knew all of it because I worked there. Used to come across the George Washington Parkway Bridge out of Maryland into Virginia, dropping off my soon-to-be wife who defied me. Inova healthcare systems. Oh, believe me, we knew the whole thing. I used to drive her up and back every morning before I had to go to work in Silver Spring. But I used to get up early enough to do it, all the way around Route 29, all the way to back roads, right? This was before GPS, none of it. We used to have the street map things. Where you go, where you go, where you go. Of course, years later, I spent 15 years with her. But I spent more than that. I spent 28 years in the Washington area. So I knew the whole Washington TV scene, all of 7 o'clock. It's 7 o'clock right now. I used to wake up and catch CBS, the Eye Opener. It's much different now. No, these idiots are getting news the wrong way. It's called the Eye Opener on CBS. Because I used to do the treadmill, the chin-ups, all before I went to work. Come home when I used to take a day off. Do the elliptical after I got another job when I was doing Medicaid, which was even worse, but at the end of my career. But I knew I was going. That's why I'm going to show you this. There's only one way to do it if you want. That's a 10-minute speech of how to open this. It's still blinking. You can't tell, but there's a mark on here. You can't see it. No. You need eyes to do it. but I can see it. There's a mark here, and it's like Braille, but you have to know how to do it. It just blinked again. Here's the Braille part of the bottom side. Here's the Braille, but I thought they were lock-in thing. I kept trying to snap it in, snap it in, snap it in, until finally I snapped it in. I'm like, what? How did I do it? Then I realized all you have to do is turn it, and it opens. So here's the 9-volt battery, which I'm going to put back in there because the more it's blinking, it's drawing electricity. These came with the thing. These things cost, money. But they pop right out. Now, this one's empty. Obviously, I can see I'm holding the 9-volt battery. But you still have to go back to the Braille part of it. That's why there's no Braille on this side. There's only one Braille piece on this whole thing. There's two of them. There's two sides of it. That's why they made it identical. So you have to find the Braille piece on this side. Or the mark. I should mark it in permanent ink, but I'm not going to do it because then I'll be sniffing permanent ink, which people hate. So now it just locks in. Now see, it's still not locked in. Now that's open because the Braille piece, the Braille piece is matched. So that's open. And then turn it one click towards you. Now it's locked. Now I can't get it over. But I still have the 9-volt battery. I can tell it's locked because the lid won't go. Now if I one more click, it'll come right off. See, it'll just drop right off. One more click towards you, and now it's locked. All right, that's a 9-volt battery. I should put it in the battery drawer. Yeah, because now I have all my batteries, rechargeable ones, the non-rechargeable. This is a non-rechargeable battery. I tried to buy one of these because I have the rechargeable batteries right here. Very important. But you need electricity. So I have two choices. I can either put this battery into this drawer, which I'm going to do, or put it back in the bag. You don't want to do that because now I have an empty thing and a battery. But they both work, obviously. This is not full. You're supposed to change these every 6 months. You know that, right? I could put it in there to see if it works, but useless. I'm going to put it right here because I have an extra spot right here. Fits right in, but I use it for something different. Like these things are very expensive. When the pandemic, you can't get these things. This is called a Duracell battery charger. But the other part about it, I have had many of them. And the guy I'm living with, he starts throwing away all the good stuff, but I had to pick through the trash and pick out rechargeable batteries because that's what fuels all the remote controls. Like all these. Here's one right here. These things are worth money. This might not be recycled because it's gold top, but it's definitely in here. And here's the other ones, which some are and some aren't. Like these are Rayovacs. They're rechargeable. These are all batteries. Here's the AAAs, which are even more insignificant because now you get the flashlight that has 3 AAA batteries. Who buys a pack of? Who makes a flashlight that takes 3 batteries? Stuff. There's your 9-volt battery. But this still works. I should try and mount it. That's why the screws are on there. I could try and tape it to the wall, but it works. Here's the bag. I can show you. Oh, it'll detect smoke. I already tested it. Want to hear how loud it is? Loud, isn't it? That'll wake you up. That's the test button. But if there's a real fire, it goes. That's why I put it in a red bag so I know what it was. And here's the bag that came in with all the instructions because I read them. But the thing is, nobody wants to read those instructions. You see how small those fine print is? It says kitty. Not kitty litter, but that's the installation instruction. It doesn't come with a quick grip. Nope. See the little package that comes in? You used to have a box that showed you everything. It says user guide. You could try and read that. Speed read it. Take a look at the picture. It's easier. I just explained how to do it. That's why everything goes into a bag says thank you. You know, bags cost money. You want to hear it again? Which one do you think it is? I can tell because this one's empty. I can put my finger in it, and this one's not because it's got the battery in it. A lot different than those mounted ones. And I can see it's still blinking. That's why I know it's blinking. Yeah. Here's another question. I got another question. If you take one of those whiteboards, which I used to write everything on, I used to have it in my window, spin it around, everything. You think it's going to smear? It says fire alarms. But it's a reusable bag, of course. But that's not a permanent marker because if you smell permanent marker, you're going to get fumes. That's why all these people hold up their hands like this. You have to have muscle to lift things. You know, people gave me a negative comment for building a brick. Why would they even watch my video? Just give a thumbs down. Stupid stuff. Why would you give somebody a negative comment? Thumbs down. Stupid. It's just my opinion. What? Everybody knows what Wawa is. We see that little bird? We have them over here. Oh, they're nasty. I just saw the black crows out front. They're even worse. It says fire alarms. They go right in here, so I know what it is. I should have a hook and lap hooks all the way around this room. I can tell there's two in there because I see they're blinking. I should have installed them when I had the can. I could try to put it over there where it should be, but that way it is. And the one downstairs doesn't even work. That's why somebody's going to have to install that. Of course, I want to see where they are. So if somebody comes in and tries to do something, I'm going to say, please install it. That's why it's right next to all the good things that matter to me. All the things that I did as a kid. Notice how it's still really still pumped up. This is a real college football. I gave one of these to our neighbors, which I shouldn't have done. This is like $24. I gave them a baby gate. I gave them Pyrex. Not too much stuff, but of course, you have to be nice to your neighbors, even though you don't see them much. Here's my favorite, which is the toddler ball. But I wrote the name Dave on there for a reason. He's going to be one of the friends I'm going to need. You only get so many friends. You meet different people at different parts of your life, unless you meet a girl, and then you don't need friends. What about the girls' stable? Well, if they meet a boy, then they don't need friends. One getting on me. Oh no, I'm not telling anybody about anybody because I want to fall in love. Oh, but she's got old people on her list. People with double her age. She's not hot enough to find anybody local. She's cute enough to have a nice picture. But she's begging loneliness at age 29. That's not Fox 29 local Philadelphia. Thus, the conclusion of my speech 19 minutes on how to install a fire alarm. Don't do it until you have proper supervision. Don't forget, I used to do it for my parents all the time because I was the one climbing trees. Monkey see, monkey do. We're all knuckle draggers. You know, when you get born, you go on your hands and your knees. That's why they call it knuckles.